The child's scream cuts through the market noise like glass breaking. High, jagged, the sound of a world ending in a small body. I stop mid-reach for the tomatoes, my hand frozen over the crate. Around me, the crowd flows and fractures, bodies shifting to avoid the epicenter. No one stops. No one ever stops. But I hear the word buried in the crying. Mama, not mama, mama. The vowels round and desperate in a way English doesn't allow. My feet move before I decide. 3 years of keeping my head down, my accent flat, my past buried under careful consonants. And I'm crossing the cobblestones toward a little boy who can't be more than 4. Dark curls plastered to his forehead with tears and sweat. His blue shirt has a dinosaur on it. He's clutching a stuffed rabbit with one ear missing. I crouch in front of him, my knees pressing into the damp stone. The market smells like fish and overripe fruit, and the rain that fell an hour ago. I don't touch him yet. Just let him see me. Ciao, piccolo! Asterisk. My voice comes out rough. The words feel like stones I've kept in my throat, smooth and heavy. Come ti chiami? Asterisk. His crying hitches, chokes into hiccups. He stares at me with eyes the color of strong coffee, and I watch the terror shift into confusion, into hope. Luca, asterisk, he whispers. Simainve, abene, Luca. Io sono Emma, asterisk. I keep my tone soft, the Neapolitan dialect rolling off my tongue like something I buried but never killed. Dove tua mamma? Asterisk. He points toward the flower stalls, his hand shaking. Non lo so, non la trovo, asterisk. I don't know, I can't find her. The terror creeping back into his voice makes my chest tighten. I reach out slowly, let him see my hand coming. When my palm settles on his small shoulder, he doesn't flinch. His rabbit drops. I catch it, tuck it back into his arms. La troviamo insieme, asterisk, I tell him. We'll find her together. Ma devi respirare con me, si? Asterisk. I exaggerate my breathing. In, out, in. His little chest starts to mirror mine. The crowd continues to part around us like water around stones. I stand, offer him my hand. His fingers are sticky, probably from candy or juice. He grips me hard enough to hurt. We're moving toward the flowers when I feel it. The weight of attention, specific and sharp. I've learned to sense when someone's looking, not casual glancing, but try watching. The back of my neck prickles. My spine wants to curve, to make me smaller. But Luca's hand is in mine, and I can't afford to spook him. So I keep walking, keep scanning the crowd for a frantic mother while my pulse climbs. There, near the cafe tables, a man who doesn't belong to the market's chaos. He's still. Everyone else shifts and moves, but he's a stone in the current. Tall. Dark suit, despite the humid June morning. His hair is black and pushed back from a face I can read even at 20 feet. Sharp lines, the kind of handsome that comes with danger, but it's his eyes that stop my breath. Fixed on me with an intensity that makes my stomach drop. He's not alone. 2 men flank him, their posture identical. Scanning, protecting. I know what that formation means. I've seen it before. I force my attention back to Luca. Lavady? Asterisk. Do you see her? Mama! Asterisk. His shriek nearly deafens me. He's pulling away, running toward a woman in a yellow dress who's shoving through the crowd with wild eyes. I follow. My role nearly complete. The woman drops to her knees and Luca crashes into her. She's sobbing into his hair, words tumbling too fast for me to catch. But I hear the relief, the terror that found its shape and can finally collapse. She looks up at me. Her gratitude is immediate and overwhelming. Grazie, grazie, non so come ringraziarla. Asterisk. Asterisk. E niente asterisk, I say. It's nothing. My smile feels carved. I can still feel him watching. Stia attenta? Asterix? Be careful. I turn. Walk back toward my abandoned groceries. My hands want to shake, so I shove them into my jacket pockets. The tomatoes are still there in the crate. I grab 3 without looking, count out coins, I barely register. The vendor says something I don't hear. I don't run. Running draws eyes, but I move with purpose, my canvas bag bumping against my hip. The bookshop is 6 blocks away. 6 blocks and I can lock the door, pull the shade, breathe. I make it 4. Miss. The voice comes from behind me. Smooth. Accented, but not with Italian. Something older underneath. Edges worn down by years in England, but not erased. I don't stop. Pretend I didn't hear. Miss. The woman who speaks to lost children. My feet betray me. Stop without permission. I turn slowly, my bag clutched against my ribs like a shield. He's closer than he should be. 5 feet. The 2 men from the cafe stand 10 paces back, bracketing the sidewalk. They're not looking at me, they're looking at everyone else. Up close, he's worse. Not because he's threatening, though he is. I can see it in the way he holds his shoulders, the way his right hand stays loose near his hip. But because he's beautiful, in the way Renaissance paintings are beautiful, all angles and shadows, and the kind of face that makes you forget to be smart. His eyes are gray, stormwater gray. You're mistaken, I say. My accent is flat again, American by way of nowhere specific. I don't know what you're talking about. His head tilts, just slightly, like I'm a puzzle he's decided to solve. The boy, Luca, you calmed him in less than a minute. Most people would have walked past. Most people aren't decent. My grip tightens on my bag. If that's all, your dialect. He cuts through my retreat with surgical precision. Neapolitan, Old Quarter, near the port, if I'm placing it correctly. My blood turns to ice water. Every survival instinct I've honed over 3 years starts screaming. You're mistaken, I repeat. My voice doesn't shake. Small victory. I studied Italian in college, that's all. No. Simple. Certain. He takes 1 step closer. His cologne reaches me. Something woody and expensive. You spoke like someone who learned the words from a mother's mouth. Like someone who counted stairs in that language. Dreamed in it. I need to leave. Now. But my legs won't cooperate. And I hate how he's reading me. Hate that he heard something in my voice I thought I'd buried. I have to go. I manage. My shop. The bookshop on Thomas Street. He knows. Of course he knows. His hand moves, reaches into his jacket. I flinch before I can stop myself. But he only pulls out a card. Black. Embossed lettering I don't read. Dante Caruso. I'll visit. Soon. He places the card in my hand. His fingers brush my palm for half a heartbeat. Warm. Deliberate. Then he steps back. Nods once. Turns and walks away with his sentries falling into formation. I watch him disappear around the corner. My hand is still extended. Still holding the card I should drop. Should tear up. Should burn. Instead, I look down. Read the name, embossed in silver. Dante Caruso. And underneath, no title. No business. Just a phone number. I shove it into my pocket. My hands are shaking now. I let them. The tomatoes in my bag feel like stones. The walk to my shop stretches into miles. Behind me, somewhere in the market, a child laughs. The sound follows me all the way home. The bell above my shop door doesn't ring for the first 2 hours. I use the silence to pretend Saturday morning is normal. Dust the spines of the poetry section. Rearrange the window display. 3 copies of Neruda, 2 of Pavese, 1 battered Leopardi I can't bring myself to sell. My hands move through the motions while my mind circles the same trap. He knew the dialect. Not just Italian, the specific streets, the vowels shaped by salt air and poverty. The kind of knowledge you don't get from language apps or university courses. The card burns in my pocket like a lit match. I'm reshelving the Italian literature. Irony I don't have time to appreciate when the bell finally chimes. My shoulders lock before I can control them. But it's just Mrs. Chen, here for her weekly romance novel. I smile. Make small talk about her daughter's wedding. Accept her cash with hands that almost don't shake. She leaves with a Susan Elizabeth Phillips and a paper bag I folded too carefully. The quiet returns. Heavier now. I last until noon before I pull out the card. Study it under the desk lamp like the black paper might reveal hidden text. Just his name. Just the number. The restraint feels more threatening than a full dossier would have. I should throw it away. Burn it. Forget the way his eyes cataloged my face like he was memorizing evidence. Instead, I tuck it into my register drawer, under the tray where I keep emergency 20s. The bell chimes again at 1:15. I know before I look up. Some animal part of my brain registers the change in air pressure, the weight of attention. I straighten slowly from the history section, my heart already climbing into my throat. Dante Caruso stands inside my shop, like he owns the square footage. He's wearing different clothes. Dark jeans, a charcoal sweater that probably costs more than my month's rent, but the same controlled stillness. His bodyguards stay outside. I watch them take positions through the window, flanking the door. You came, I say. Brilliant opener. My voice sounds far away. I said I would. He moves deeper into the shop, his gaze sweeping the shelves with something that might be genuine interest. You have a good collection. Unusual for this neighborhood. The unusual stuff pays rent. I stay behind the counter. Put the wood between us like it matters. What do you want? To browse? His mouth curves, not quite a smile. Is that allowed? I should say no. Should tell him to leave, that I'm closing early, that he's scaring away customers I don't have. But my shop barely breaks even on good months, and I know dismissing him would be the kind of mistake that echoes. Browse? I say. He does. Takes his time in the poetry section. Italian, naturally. His fingers trace spines with the care of someone who knows books, who's read them. He pulls a volume of Montal, flips through pages like he's searching for something specific. Ossi di sepia, asterisk, he says. Cuttlefish bones. First edition? Reprint? 1963. I cross my arms. Stay rooted. The real ones go for thousands at auction. You know your stock. He doesn't look up from the page. Ho sostato talvolta nelle grotte, lasc che t'assecondano, lasc chiuse sul mare, asterisk. The words roll off his tongue like water over stones. Sometimes I've lingered in caves that curve to meet you, closed against the sea. My throat tightens. I haven't heard Italian poetry spoken aloud since I left Naples. Since the night I watched my neighbor's blood spread across cobblestones and ran with nothing but a passport and fear. You read Montal, I ask? My mother did. He closes the book carefully, meets my eyes. She had a collection. Read to me when I was young. Past tense. The grief sits in his voice like furniture he's learned to navigate around. Your accent yesterday. You sounded like her. There it is. The reason he's here, standing in my shop, watching me like I'm a ghost he's trying to prove real. I told you. You lied. No anger, just fact. He sets the book on the counter between us. You learned that dialect in Naples, probably before you were 10. The way you shaped the diminutives. Piccolo. Mama. You weren't performing comfort. You were remembering it. My pulse hammers. You came to my shop to interrogate me about grammar? I came because I want to understand why you're hiding. He leans forward slightly. Close enough that I catch his cologne again, the same woody scent from yesterday. Why a woman who speaks like she was born in the Quartiere Spagnoli is running a failing bookshop in South London under a name that doesn't fit her face. You don't know anything about my face. I know you flinch when men reach into their jackets. I know you position yourself with sightlines to both exits. I know you haven't looked at your phone once since I walked in, which means you either don't have anyone to check for, or you can't afford the distraction. His gaze doesn't waver. I know survival when I see it. I've worn it myself. I want to lie. Want to feed him a story about student loans and wanderlust and choosing London for the weather, but he's reading me the way I used to read streets, looking for the tells that separate tourists from targets. The book is £40, I say instead. He pulls out his wallet, counts out 2 20s and places them on top of the Montale. Then he adds a 50. For your time, he says, I didn't give you anything worth £50. You let me stand in your shop without calling the police. His head tilts. Even though you know what I am, what family I represent, that's worth something. My hands stay at my sides. I don't know what you're talking about. Emma. My name in his mouth stops my breath. I had my people look into you. Emma Rossini moved to London 3 years ago on an emergency visa. No family listed. No references. You appeared in the system like you were born at 24. He pauses. That takes money. And desperation. The edges of my vision blur. I grip the counter to stay upright. The name's not Rossini? He continues, quieter now. Or if it is, it wasn't always. You changed it, buried whoever you were before. He reaches across the counter, slow, letting me see it coming, and places his hand palm up between us, an offering. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here because when you spoke to that child, I heard my mother's voice for the first time in 15 years. I heard home. My eyes burn. I blink hard, force the tears back. What do you want? My voice cracks. I let it. To know why you ran. Simple, honest. And whether you're still running. I look at his hand. At the scars across his knuckles. The calluses that say he's done his own violence. At the patience in the way he waits, not pushing, just offering space I haven't had in 3 years. You can't protect me, I whisper. Maybe not. His fingers don't move. But I can try, if you let me understand what I'm protecting you from. The shop is silent, except for the distant sound of traffic. Mrs. Chen's romance novel sits in the sold pile. The Montale stays on the counter between us, £40 and a 50 that feels like a question. I should say no. Should lock my door after he leaves and start looking for new cities, new names. Instead, I take a breath. Let my hand move toward his. Stop an inch away. Not here, I say. If you want the truth, not here. His hand closes into a fist, withdraws. But his eyes hold relief. Where? I swallow. Make the choice that'll either save me or finish what Naples started. Somewhere. I can see the exits. He chooses the cafe near Victoria Station, the one with glass walls and too many exits. 3 I count immediately, plus the kitchen door I mark through the service window. Smart. He understood the assignment. I arrive first. Take the corner table with my back to brick and sightlines to everything. Order black coffee I won't drink. My hands wrap around the cup for something to hold. Some way to anchor the shaking that starts in my wrists and climbs. Dante walks in alone. No guards shadowing his shoulders. No formation screening the perimeter. The vulnerability of it catches me off guard. He spots me, weaves through the lunch crowd with the same controlled grace from my shop, sits across from me without asking permission. No security, I ask. They're nearby. He gestures vaguely toward the street. But this conversation doesn't need witnesses. A server appears. Dante orders espresso in English that carries continental vowels underneath. When she leaves, the silence stretches. He doesn't fill it, just waits. With the same patience he showed yesterday, his hands folded on the table between us. I look at those hands, at the scar tissue across his knuckles, whiter than the rest of his skin. Evidence of impact, of breaking things, or people. You said you heard your mother. I start. My voice comes out steadier than I expected. When I spoke to Luca. I did. His espresso arrives. He doesn't touch it. She died when I was 15. Cancer. Took 18 months. The facts delivered flat, but I hear the weight underneath. Near the end, she could barely speak. But she'd try. The dialect never left her, even when English did. I nod. Don't interrupt. The last thing she said to me was in Napolitano, called me Piccirillo. Asterisk. Little boy. His mouth softens. I hadn't heard that word in 15 years. Then you said it yesterday, and I was 8 years old again, sitting on her hospital bed. My throat tightens. I know that particular grief, the way a sound can collapse time, turn you back into the child who didn't know how to lose everything yet. I'm sorry, I whisper. Don't be. He picks up his cup, sets it down without drinking. It's the first time remembering her didn't only hurt. So I needed to understand who you were, why you carried those words across countries. And if I don't want to tell you, then I'll finish my coffee. Thank you for meeting me. Leave you alone. His eyes hold mine. But I think you're tired of being alone with it, whatever it is. He's right. I hate that he's right. 3 years of carrying the weight so low, of flinching at Vespa engines and avoiding restaurants that smell like Neapolitan ragu. 3 years of cutting myself off from the language that shaped my mouth, my dreams, my understanding of what home meant before home became the place I couldn't return to. I take a breath, make the choice. My name was Elena Marconi. The old name tastes like copper, like blood. I lived in the Quartiere Spagnoli, 4th floor walk-up near Via Pignaseca. My mother died when I was 12, father when I was 20. After that, it was just me and the restaurant where I waitressed. Dante doesn't move, doesn't react, just listens. 3 years ago, I was walking home after close. 2 a.m., maybe later. Summer, so it was still warm. I took the shortcut through the alley behind San Mateo. I can see it. Smell the garbage and jasmine, feel the cobblestones under my shoes. There were men, 4 of them. They had someone on his knees. My coffee's gone cold. I push it away. I should have turned around, should have walked a long way, minded my business. But I froze, and one of them saw me. I close my eyes. The man on his knees, they shot him. Point blank. I watched his blood spread across stones that probably dated back centuries. Then they looked at me. "You ran," Dante says quietly. "I ran." I opened my eyes. Meet his. Went straight to my apartment. Grabbed my passport, the cash I kept hidden, some clothes. I was on a train to Rome by dawn. Flight to London by noon. I used money I'd been saving for culinary school to buy new documents. Emma Rossini. Fresh history. The kind of clean slate that costs everything. You witnessed a clan execution. It's not a question, but I answer anyway. I didn't know that then. Didn't understand what I'd seen until I was already here, reading news reports about gang violence in Naples, about bodies found in alleys. I swallow. About witnesses who disappeared. Dante's jaw tightens. Did you see faces? One. The admission cost me. The shooter, clearly, he was young, maybe my age. He had a tattoo on his neck, a rose with thorns. He smiled right before he pulled the trigger. Madonna. The curse slips out in Italian. Dante leans back, runs a hand through his hair. For the first time since I've met him, he looks shaken. Elena, Emma, you saw Enzo Vitali kill someone. The name means nothing to me, everything to him. You know him, I say. He's Camorra, mid-level but rising, works enforcement for the Vitali family. Dante's voice goes flat. Professional. They've been trying to expand into London, legitimate business fronts, money laundering. My family has been blocking them. My blood turns cold. Your family? I'm Caruso. We have history in Naples going back 100 years. We left 20 years ago, rebuilt here. Clean now, mostly, but old enemies don't forget. He focuses on me with new intensity. If Enzo Vitali is in London, if he sees you, he'll finish what he started. I finish the thought. I know. That's why I haven't spoken Italian in 3 years. Why I changed everything. Why I hide in a failing bookshop and don't make friends. The cafe noise surrounds us. Clinking cups, conversation, the hiss of the espresso machine. Normal people living normal lives where the past stays buried and accents don't carry death sentences. You can't protect me from this, I say. This is bigger than I can. He cuts through my surrender with absolute certainty. The Vitalis don't move in London without us knowing. If Enzo's here, my people will find him, and you won't be alone. You don't understand. I understand exactly. He reaches across the table, doesn't take my hand, just places his palm up between us like he did in my shop. An offer. A choice. I understand what it costs to run. To cut yourself off from everything familiar, because staying means dying. My family did it, I did it, and I understand that hearing my mother's voice in yours felt like providence. That's not enough, I whisper. Maybe not. His hand doesn't move, but it's a start. And you're tired, Elena. I can see it. The weight of hiding is breaking you down one careful day at a time. Tears burn hot behind my eyes. I don't let them fall. If I let you help me, it makes you a target too. I've been a target since I was born with my surname. His mouth curves without humor. At least this time it's for something that matters. The question sits between us like the Montail in my shop, 40 pounds and meaning that exceeds the price. I look at his hand. At the evidence of violence he's survived, the patience he's chosen despite it. At the possibility of sharing this weight with someone who understands the dialect of survival. Slowly, carefully, I place my hand in his. His fingers close around mine, warm, certain, scarred. "Tell me everything you remember about that night," he says. So I do. If Elena and Dante's story moved you, please like and subscribe for more tales like this one. The glass shatters inward at 3:47 a.m. I know because I'm staring at my phone when the brick crashes through my shop window and the timestamp burns into my vision before instinct drops me behind the counter. Silence. Then footsteps on broken glass. Not coming in. Retreating. I stay low, count my breaths. 10, 20. The shop alarm should be screaming, but it's not, which means they cut the line first. Professional work. When I finally stand, my legs shake so hard I have to grip the counter. The brick sits in the center of my poetry section, surrounded by glittering fragments and scattered Neruda. There's paper wrapped around it. Twine holding it secure. I should call the police. Should leave it untouched. Preserve the scene. Instead, I pull on the gloves I keep for handling rare books and unwrap the message. Block letters. Thick marker. English words, but the threat comes through clear. Caruso's whore. Leave London or bleed. My stomach empties. I make it to the small bathroom and back before I vomit. When there's nothing left, I sit on the cold tile and let the shaking take over completely. They know. The Vitellis know. Enzo, or his people, saw me with Dante, connected the dots, and now the 3 years I've spent invisible are finished. My phone rings. Dante's name on the screen. Emma. His voice cuts through. "Are you hurt? How did you?" "My people watch your street at night. They saw the car, got the plates." Background noise. An engine, voices giving coordinates. "Stay inside. Lock the back door. I'm 8 minutes away." He's already moving. Already responding to a threat he anticipated. The realization should comfort me. Instead, it confirms what I've known since I took his hand in the cafe. Stepping into his world means the violence I've been running from finally catches up. "They left a message," I say. "I know. My man photographed it." A pause. "Pack what you need. You can't stay there." This is my shop. My life. Elena. The use of my real name stops my protest. "They broke your window as a warning. Next time they'll break more than glass." You know this. I do. I've known since I watched blood spread across Neapolitan cobblestones that men like Enzo don't warn twice. Where am I supposed to go? Somewhere they can't reach you. His voice softens. Somewhere I can keep you alive. The line goes quiet, but he doesn't hang up. Just stays there while I sit on my bathroom floor surrounded by cracked tile and the smell of fierce sweat. The shop I've built, my careful, small life, violated by a brick in 12 words. "Okay," I whisper. 8 minutes, he repeats. "Stay away from the windows." He disconnects. I pull myself up, splash cold water on my face that does nothing for the shaking. In the main shop, glass crunches under my feet. The brick sits like an accusation. The poetry books scattered like casualties. I grab the duffel I keep in back. The one I've never unpacked from 3 years ago, because some part of me always knew I might need to run again. Clothes. Toiletries. The photo of my mother I've kept hidden in my desk. My passport, both of them. The Montal that Dante bought catches my eye, still on the counter where I left it after he paid. I grab it too, tuck it on top like it matters, Headlights wash across the broken window. A car stops outside. Sleek, dark, expensive. Dante emerges from the passenger side. Two men follow. One starts photographing the damage. The other scans the street with a hand inside his jacket. Dante walks through my destroyed door like he owns the threshold. Glass crunches. He finds me in seconds, his gaze cataloging me for injury, with the efficiency of someone trained to assess damage quickly. "You're not hurt," he says. "No." My voice sounds far away. Just the window and the message. He moves to the brick, studies it without touching. His jaw sets in a way that makes the temperature drop. "Vitali signature," he says. "Crude, but effective." He turns back to me. "They've been watching you, probably since the cafe. They wanted to know if you mattered to me before they made the move. And now they know I do." The words come out bitter. "So this is my fault. I made myself a target by—" "No." He closes the distance between us in 2 strides. Doesn't touch me, but his presence fills the space. "This is their move in an old game. You're just the leverage they chose. If it wasn't you, it would be someone else." That doesn't make me feel better. It should. His eyes hold mine. "It means this isn't about you being weak or careless. It's about them being predictable. And I've been fighting predictable enemies my entire life." One of his men appears in the doorway. "Street's clear, no surveillance we can detect." Dante nods. "Board the window. I want eyes on this location until we relocate her assets." "Where are you taking me?" I ask. "Home. Simple. Final." He picks up my duffel before I can protest. "My home. The estate outside the city. 20 acres, walled perimeter. Security that would make Buckingham Palace jealous. I can't just disappear into your fortress." "You can. You will." He's already moving toward the door. "Unless you'd prefer to stay here and wait for them to upgrade from bricks to bullets." I look at my shop. At 3 years of careful building, reduced to broken glass and scattered pages. At the message that confirms Enzo Vitale knows exactly who Emma Rossini really is. I follow Dante to the car. The drive takes 40 minutes. We leave the city lights behind, trade concrete for trees that press close to the road. His men bracket us in a second vehicle. Nobody speaks. Dante sits beside me in the back seat, close enough that his arm brushes mine when we take curves. "What happens now?" I finally ask. "Now you let me do what my family's good at." He's looking out the window, watching darkness slide past. "We find Enzo, confirm what he knows, eliminate the threat before it escalates." "You mean kill him. If necessary. No hesitation, no apology." "Would that bother you?" I should say yes. Should claim moral high ground, insist there are legal channels and civilized solutions. But I watched Enzo smile before executing a man on his knees. I've spent 3 years looking over my shoulder, flinching at Vespas, burying my language like evidence. "No," I say, "it wouldn't." His head turns. Studies me in the darkness. "Good. Because I need you to understand what staying under my protection means. It means accepting that the world we live in doesn't answer to police or courts. It means trusting me to do what's necessary, even when necessary is ugly." I've seen ugly. My hands twist in my lap. I ran from it, but I'm tired of running. "Then stop. Simple. Absolute. Stay. Let me stand between you and what's coming." The gates appear, iron and tall, topped with cameras I can see even in the dark. They open automatically. The drive curves through manicured grounds to a house that's more estate than home. Stone and glass and security lights that turn night into day. Dante's hand finds mine in the darkness. Warm, scarred, steady. Last chance, he says quietly. I can still set you up somewhere safe. New identity, new city. You could disappear again. I look at our joined hands, at the evidence of violence he carries, the protection he's offering, at the possibility of finally stopping the endless run. I'm tired of disappearing, I whisper. His fingers tighten. Then welcome home, Elena. The car stops. His men emerge first, scanning the perimeter with practiced efficiency. Dante opens my door, offers his hand to help me out. I take it. Let him pull me up into this new life, this dangerous choice. The house swallows us whole. Marble floors, art I don't recognize, silence that speaks of money and careful isolation. He leads me through rooms too large for one person, down a hallway to a door he opens without ceremony. Guest suite, he says. Private bath. Balcony overlooks the gardens, but don't go out there at night. The security system is sensitive. He sets my duffel on the bed. Get some rest. We'll talk strategy in the morning. He's leaving, giving me space. But I don't want space. I want... Stay, I say. He stops in the doorway, turns. Just for a minute, my voice cracks. I don't want to be alone yet. He nods, comes back inside, closes the door, sits in the chair by the window while I perch on the edge of the too large bed. The silence stretches, but it's not empty. It's full of everything we're not saying. Your mother, I finally ask. What was her name? Julia. Soft. Careful. Julia Russo before she married my father. She came from nothing. Taught herself English watching television. Saved every penny to bring her family over. She sounds strong. She was. He leans back. Stronger than my father ever appreciated. She used to sing while she cooked. Neapolitan lullabies her mother taught her. His eyes find mine across the dim room. That's what I heard yesterday, when you spoke to Luca, the melody underneath the words. My throat tightens. I could teach you the songs, if you want. His expression shifts. Something vulnerable breaking through the control. I'd like that. We sit there as the night settles around his too large house. Two people shaped by violence and loss, finding unexpected sanctuary in the language we've both tried to bury. Eventually he stands. Get some sleep. Tomorrow we figure out how to end this. Dante? He pauses at the door. Thank you for not making me run alone this time. You're not running anymore, Elena. His hand rests on the doorframe. You're standing, and I'm standing with you. He leaves. The door closes with a soft click. I'm alone in a stranger's guest room, my shop destroyed, my carefully built life in ruins. But for the first time in 3 years, I'm not afraid. I wake to sunlight and the smell of espresso. For 3 confused seconds, I don't know where I am. Then memory catches up. The brick, the message, Dante's fortress. I pull on yesterday's clothes and follow the coffee scent downstairs. The house looks different in daylight. Less fortress, more museum. Every surface perfect. Every angle designed. The kind of sterile wealth that comes from having staff but no family to mess it up. I find Dante in what must be his office. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlook grounds that stretch toward distant walls. He's on the phone, speaking rapid Italian I don't try to follow. When he sees me, he holds up one finger. Wait. I pour myself espresso from the carafe on his desk. It's still hot. He planned for me to find him here. He ends the call, sets the phone down with more force than necessary. Enzo's in London, he says. No preamble. Confirmed sighting in Camden 2 days ago. My people are tracking his known associates. I sink into the chair across from him. The espresso burns my tongue, but I drink it anyway. How long until you find him? Hours. Days at most. He leans back, studies me with the same intensity from the market. But there's a complication. Of course there is. The Vitalis want to negotiate. They reached out through back channels this morning. Neutral ground meeting. Tomorrow night. His jaw tightens. They're proposing a truce. Business realignment that would give them access to our shipping routes in exchange for territorial concessions. I set my cup down carefully. You're considering it. I'm required to hear them out. Family rules. Even enemies get one chance to talk before we move to open conflict. His eyes don't leave mine. They specifically requested I bring you. My blood goes cold. Why? Because they want to confirm you're important enough to matter. Want to see if threatening you will make me compromise. He stands, moves to the window. It's a test. They're betting I'll either refuse to bring you, which shows you're valuable, or I'll bring you and they can assess how much leverage you represent. So it's a trap either way. Yes. He turns back, which is why we're going to spring it. I stand too fast. The chair scrapes. You want to walk me into a meeting with the man who wants me dead? I want to end this before it escalates further. His voice stays level, certain. If we refuse, they'll interpret it as weakness. They'll push harder. Target other people I care about. Make moves that force open war. He crosses to me. Stops close enough that I have to tilt my head back to hold his gaze. But if we go, if I bring you and make it clear you're under my protection, we control the narrative. We show strength. Or we give them a clear shot at both of us. The meeting is neutral ground. Old rules apply. No weapons beyond personal security. No moves during negotiation. His hand lifts, hovers near my face. I've attended a dozen of these. They're theater, ritual. The real danger comes after, not during. I want to believe him, want to trust that centuries of Mafia protocol will protect me from Enzo's smile and his neck tattoo, and the memory of blood spreading across stones. What happens if I say no? I ask. If I refuse to go? Then you stay here, locked down, safe. His hand finally touches my cheek. Gentle. Too gentle for hands that carry that much scar tissue. And I go alone and try to negotiate your safety with people who have no reason to honor their word. You're asking me to be bait. I'm asking you to be visible. To stand beside me and let them see you're not a weakness they can exploit. His thumb brushes my cheekbone. I'm asking you to trust that I can keep you alive for one night while we end this. The office is silent except for distant sounds of the estate. Someone running a vacuum. Somewhere, a phone ringing in another wing. Normal sounds in a house built to contain violence. Where's the meeting? I ask. The Sapphire Room. Private club in Mayfair. Italian ownership. Neutral management. Security is airtight. They scan for weapons, have protocols for exactly this kind of negotiation. You've done this before. Many times. He drops his hand, but doesn't step back. The rules exist because breaking them means war nobody can afford. They'll posture, I'll counter, we'll reach an arrangement. You just need to sit beside me and look unmoved. I think of my shop window. The message wrapped around a brick. 3 years of hiding reduced to 12 words and broken glass. I'm tired of hiding, I say quietly. I know. And if this goes wrong, it won't. Absolute certainty. But if it does, Marco and Luca will extract you first. I've already briefed them. Your safety is the priority. Before yours, his mouth curves. Not quite a smile. I'm harder to kill, I should argue. Should demand alternatives, safer routes, anything that doesn't involve sitting across from Enzo Vitale, while Dante negotiates my survival. But I'm so tired. Tired of running, of shrinking, of letting fear dictate every choice. "When do we leave?" I ask. Relief flashes across his face before he locks it down. "Tomorrow. 7-page M. I'll have appropriate clothing sent to your room. The Sapphire Room has standards." Of course it does. I pick up my espresso. It's gone cold. What do I do until then? Rest, eat, learn the estate. He moves back to his desk. "And tonight, if you're willing, you teach me one of those songs you promised." The lullabies. His mother's voice that I accidentally carried across countries. Times F a la Nina, F a la Nana, asterisk. I sing softly. The melody comes back like muscle memory, like I never stopped singing it. "Nella braccia della mamma, asterisk." Dante goes absolutely still. His hand on the desk curls into a fist. "That one?" he whispers. "She sang that one," I nod. Can't speak around the sudden tightness in my throat. "Tonight then," he says. "After dinner. You teach me the words I've forgotten." I leave him there in his perfect office, staring at grounds he owns but probably never walks. Go back to my guest room that's larger than my entire Naples apartment was. Sit on the edge of the too-soft bed and try to imagine walking into a room tomorrow night where my death has been politely invited. My phone buzzes. Messages from the auto-reply I set up for the shop. Customer inquiries I can't answer. A life I can't return to until this ends. One way or another. I pull up my photos. Scroll back 3 years to the last ones I took in Naples. My apartment. The street market. My father's grave. Delete them all. If I'm standing tomorrow, if I'm choosing visible over hidden, I can't carry ghosts. Can't split myself between Elena who ran and Emma who hid. I need to be whole, present, dangerous enough to sit beside Dante and make the Vitalis think twice. My phone buzzes again. Dante, lunch in an hour. Don't dress up. I almost smile. Almost. Instead, I stand. Strip off yesterday's fear sweat clothes. Shower in the marble bathroom until the water runs cold. When I emerge, there's a garment bag hanging on the bedroom door. Inside, dark silk that looks like armor. Shoes with heels sharp enough to draw blood. Clothes for a woman who sits in rooms with killers and doesn't flinch. I hang them carefully in the closet. Tomorrow I'll become whoever she is. Today I have lunch with a man who heard his mother in my voice. Tonight I teach him lullabies. And somewhere in London, Enzo Vitale sharpens his smile and waits for his chance. The kitchen table is smaller than I expected. More intimate. Dante's already seated when I arrive, sleeves rolled up, reading something on his tablet. He looks younger without the suit jacket. More human. "Sit," he says without looking up. Maria made too much. Maria turns out to be the woman responsible for the espresso, and probably the entire domestic operation. She's 60, sturdy, with sharp eyes that catalog me in 3 seconds. She sets down plates, pasta al limone, simple and perfect, and disappears before I can thank her. She doesn't like strangers, Dante says, finally setting the tablet aside. She doesn't like complications. I pick up my fork. I'm both. She'll adjust. He starts eating. Everyone does eventually. We eat in silence. The pasta tastes like something my mother used to make, lemon and pepper, and good olive oil doing all the work. I didn't realize I was hungry until the first bite. Now I can't stop. When this is over, Dante says, when the Vitalis are handled, what do you want? I look up. What? Your shop is damaged but salvageable. I can have it repaired. Upgraded. Better security. He's watching me carefully. Or you could do something else. Move somewhere new. Fresh start with resources this time. You're planning my future before we survive tomorrow. I'm planning for after because we will survive tomorrow. No doubt. Just fact. And I want to know what you're fighting for. Beyond just staying alive. I set down my fork. Think about the question underneath the question. About what it means that he's asking it at all. I want to stop being afraid, I say finally. I want to speak Italian without checking over my shoulder. I want to remember Naples without only seeing blood. I meet his eyes. I want to stop running even when I'm standing still. He nods slowly. That I can give you. Can you? If you let me. He pushes his plate aside, leans forward. Elena, this meeting tomorrow, it's not just about ending a threat. It's about declaring that you're under my family's protection. Permanently. That attacking you means war with Caruso. That makes me yours. It makes you safe. His voice drops. There's a difference. Is there? I lean forward too, close enough to see gold flecks in his gray eyes. Because it sounds like I'm trading one prison for another. Just this one has better food and security cameras. His jaw tightens. You think I want to cage you? I think you want to protect me. And I think you're used to protection, looking like walls. We stare at each other across pasta and unspoken terms. The kitchen hums around us. Refrigerator, distant voices, the estate breathing. My mother, he says quietly, spent 20 years in my father's fortress. Beautiful house. Every comfort. Armed guards. He looks away. She called it a velvet coffin. Said she traded Naples' poverty for luxury imprisonment and wasn't sure she won the exchange. But she stayed. She stayed because leaving meant war. Meant putting her family back in Naples at risk. Meant choosing herself over everyone she loved. His eyes come back to mine. I watched it hollow her out, one careful year at a time. I wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting him to offer his own doubts like this. I'm not your mother, I say. No, you're someone who already knows how to run. Who spent 3 years proving you can survive alone. He stands, moves around the table, stops beside my chair. So if you stay after this is over, I need it to be a choice. Not fear. Not obligation. Choice. I tilt my head back. Look up at him, standing there with sun from the window, turning his hair almost blue-black. At the certainty and doubt fighting behind his eyes. Ask me after tomorrow, I say. When we're both still breathing. His hand settles on my shoulder. Warm, heavy, steady. Deal. He leaves me there with half-finished pasta and too many thoughts. I sit until Maria comes back, clears the plates without comment. She pauses at the door. He's a good man, she says in accented English. Lonely, but good. Then she's gone too. I spend the afternoon walking the grounds, testing boundaries, learning exits, old habits. Marco shadows me at a distance. Polite, but present. The walls are high. The gates locked. Cameras track my movement through the gardens. It's a fortress. Beautiful, secure, suffocating if I let it be. By evening, I'm back in my room when Dante knocks. He's carrying 2 glasses and a bottle of something amber. Grappa, he says, for courage before the singing. I let him in. We settle by the window. Me in the chair, him on the floor with his back against the wall. The grappa burns going down. Tastes like Italy and poor decisions. Ready? I ask. He nods. So I sing. Times F alla Nina, F alla Nana. The melody my mother taught me, that her mother taught her. Passed down through generations of Neapolitan women, trying to make sleep come gently. Dante closes his eyes. His lips move, learning the words I'm giving back to him. When I finish, his face is wet. Again, he whispers, so I do, again and again, until he can sing it with me. Our voices finding harmony in the shared language of loss and memory, and the small beauty we're trying to protect. Outside the window, the sun sets over walls and gardens and the careful fortress of his life. Tomorrow we'll walk into a room with our ghosts and try to negotiate our survival. Tonight we have this. 2 people singing lullabies against the dark. It's enough. For now, it's enough. The sapphire room lives up to its name. Blue velvet walls, crystal chandeliers that fracture light into cold stars, tables spaced for privacy and security sightlines. We arrive precisely at 7. Marco and Luca flank us through the entrance, peel off to join Dante's men stationed at strategic points. The maître d' recognizes Dante with a nod that requires no words. The Vitales are already seated. 3 men. Enzo in the center, rose tattoo visible above his collar. He's leaner than I remember, sharper, like 3 years have honed him into a blade. The men beside him carry the same predatory stillness. Soldiers who know their work. Enzo's eyes find me immediately. Recognition flashes. Then something darker. Hunger. Caruso, he says in Italian. Punctual as always. Vitale. Dante's hand settles on my lower back. Guides me forward. You requested a meeting. We're here. We sit. The table between us feels both too wide and not wide enough. A server appears with wine none of us will drink. The ritual of hospitality in a room designed for threat. Enzo's gaze hasn't left my face. And you brought a guest. How considerate. Elena Marconi, Dante says, using my real name like a declaration. Under my family's protection. Formally and permanently. The words land like stones in water, ripples I can't take back. Enzo leans back, smiles. The same smile from the alley 3 years ago. Marconi, the little waitress who saw too much. We looked for you. For months. Then you vanished like you'd never existed. My hands stay folded in my lap. I don't let them shake. She's existed under my roof for the past week, Dante says, which makes her Caruso business, not yours. Everything in London is eventually our business. The man to Enzo's left speaks. Older. Gray at his temples. Authority in his posture. Your family has been blocking our expansion for 2 years. The ports. The shipping lanes, the distribution networks. It ends. It ends when we reach terms. Dante's voice doesn't rise, doesn't need to. Not before. Then let's discuss terms. Gray Temples slides a folder across the table. 60-40 split on the Southampton routes. You maintain oversight, but we move our product without interference. In exchange, we exit the protection racket in Southwark. Leave your businesses untouched. Dante doesn't open the folder. And Elena? Enzo's smile widens. A complication we're willing to overlook. For the right price. She's not for sale. Everything's for sale, Caruso. You know that. Enzo leans forward, addresses me directly. Do you remember that night, Elena? In the alley behind San Mateo? The way the blood looked almost black in the streetlight? My throat closes. I force words through. I remember. Good. He tilts his head. Because I remember you. The way you froze. Like a rabbit who knows the fox has already won. His fingers drum the table. I told my uncle we should have finished it then. Clean. Simple. But he said no. Said a witness running scared was better than a body that brought police. Your uncle was wrong, the third man says. younger than Gray Temple's harder. She's a liability. Always was. Dante's hand finds mine under the table, squeezes once. Warning or comfort, I can't tell. The liability, Dante says, is you breaking neutral ground protocol by threatening someone under formal protection. That's a violation. Grounds for immediate termination of negotiation. We're not threatening. Gray Temple spreads his hands. We're clarifying. The woman witnessed a sanctioned execution. That creates obligation. Debt. 3-year-old debt in another country under another family's jurisdiction. Dante's thumb moves against my palm. Steady rhythm. Anchoring, which you nullified the moment you failed to contain it. Your mess. Your failure. Not hers. Enzo's smile finally slips. You're protecting a witness to Camorra business. That's a declaration, Caruso. It is. No hesitation. I'm declaring Elena Marconi is mine. Touch her, you touch me. Come for her, you come for my entire family. And we both know how that war ends. The temperature drops. The server, who was hovering near the bar, retreats. Even the ambient noise seems to hush. Gray Temple studies Dante, then me, then Dante again. You'd risk open conflict over a woman you've known a week? I'd risk it over the principal, Dante says. But yes, over her specifically, without question. Something shifts in Enzo's expression, calculation replacing hunger. She must be exceptional in bed to earn this kind of loyalty so quickly. I move before Dante can. Lean forward. Let Enzo see the years I've spent running, the fear I've swallowed, the rage I've buried under careful English and bookshop politeness. I'm exceptional at surviving men like you, I say in Napolitano. Let the dialect fill my mouth like coming home. At remembering faces, at testifying if needed. Your smile, your tattoo, the way you laughed after you killed him. Enzo goes very still. So if you want to discuss terms, I continue, discuss them with Dante, but don't pretend I'm just a woman in his bed. I'm a witness who can put you in prison or a grave. Whichever Caruso decides serves his interests better. Silence. Then Gray Temple's laughs, short, sharp, surprised. She has teeth. She does. Dante's voice carries approval. Pride, which is why she's valuable, and why this negotiation happens on my terms or doesn't happen at all. Gray Temples considers this, glances at Enzo, whose face has gone carefully blank. Revised offer. We forget the woman exists. Caruso protection stands, no interference. In exchange, 70-30 on Southampton. We maintain secondary distribution through our people. You keep primary oversight and veto power. 70-30 our favor, Dante counters. And you pull Enzo back to Naples. Permanently. His presence in London creates instability I won't tolerate. Enzo's hand slams the table. Wine glasses jump. I'm not leaving. You are. Gray Temples cuts him off. Because staying means war we can't afford over a grudge we should have buried 3 years ago. He looks at Enzo with something between disappointment and calculation. Your father indulged your hunt too long. It ends now. Uncle, it ends. Final. Absolute. We take the 70-30. Rebuild in Naples. Come back to London in 5 years when the ground's more favorable. Dante doesn't smile, but satisfaction radiates off him. Agreed. I want him on a plane by Friday. Done. Gray Temple stands, extends his hand across the table. Terms accepted. The woman lives untouched. Business proceeds cleanly. Dante stands, takes the hand. They shake once. Brief, formal, binding in ways no contract could match. Enzo hasn't moved. Just sits there staring at me, with hatred so pure it's almost beautiful. 3 years, he says quietly. I looked for you for 3 years. And now you stop, I say, because I'm not running anymore. He stands slowly, adjusts his jacket. The rose tattoo pulses with his heartbeat. If I see you in Naples, you won't. Dante steps between us, because she has no reason to return, and you have no reason to stay. We leave them there in the blue velvet room with their wine and wounded pride. Marco and Luca close around us as we exit. The car waits with engine running. I don't start shaking until we're moving. Then it hits all at once. The adrenaline crash, the reality of what just happened, the weight of Dante's declaration echoing in my bones. Mine. She's mine. He pulls me against his side. Let me shake while London slides past the windows. You did well, he says into my hair. Better than well. I threaten to testify. My voice comes out muffled against his shoulder. I have no evidence, no proof, nothing that would hold up. They don't know that, and now they won't risk finding out. His arms tighten. You played it perfectly. I played it terrified. Terrified looks like strength when you don't run. He pulls back, frames my face with scarred hands. You didn't run, Elena. You sat across from your nightmare and you didn't flinch. My eyes burn. I had you beside me, and you'll keep having me, for as long as you want. His thumb brushes away a tear I didn't realize had fallen. That's the choice I'm offering. Not a cage, not a velvet coffin. Just this. Protection. Partnership. Someone who stands with you. The car turns through his gates. Home. His home. Maybe mine if I choose it. Ask me now, I whisper. Ask me what I want. His eyes search mine. What do you want, Elena? To stay. Simple. Terrifying. True. To stop running. To teach you the rest of the lullabies your mother sang. I cover his hands with mine, to see if standing still with you is braver than running alone ever was. He kisses me then, soft, careful, like I'm something precious he's afraid to break. When we pull apart, the car has stopped. The estate spreads before us, walls and gardens and the careful fortress of his life. Our life, maybe, if I choose it, if I already have. We walk inside together, his hand in mine. Two people shaped by violence and loss, choosing tenderness despite the cost. That night, I teach him 3 more lullabies. We sit in his study with grappa and fading light, our voices finding harmony in the shared language we've both tried to bury. Times F a la Nina, F a la Nana. The melody fills spaces between us that words can't reach. Outside, London breathes. Enzo packs for Naples. The Vitales count their compromise. My shop waits for repair. And here, in this fortress that's learning to be a home, we sing against the dark. It doesn't erase the danger, doesn't undo the blood or the running or the 3 years I spent invisible, but it makes the weight bearable. Shared. Enough. If Elena and Dante's journey moved you, if their choice to stand together despite the cost resonated, please like and subscribe for more stories that find hope in unexpected places.